Hi all. Right, this is 1862 Railway Mania in Eastern Counties. Um, um, an 18XX game that apparently can be played solo. Well, I'll say apparently. I've had a few attempts at it now, and to be honest, that's what's dragged me away from other things. I've been really enjoying the brain burning decisions to try and achieve a victory at this game. I watched a few videos previously, and most of the ones I watched, they were all coming up well short of the target. I think you need to £9,000. I think is the minimum sort of level to have a victory. And a few of the games I watched were like 3 and 4 thousand. Um, so it's really quite challenging. Um, I tried two sort of learning games, one of which I realised I was doing a lot of things wrong, making a lot of mistakes, and it actually ended up with £7,000. But I think a lot of the mistakes were mistakes that benefited me, so we had to scrap that one. I then started another game of it and got about halfway through and realised I was making another at least one major mistake within the game. It's a pretty heavy game. I think all these 18xx games are, and I'm not so sure they're. Well, I think I'd like them as a game, but as I've said before, I'm very AP prone, very analysis paralysis. Don't know what to do. Sit there for ages, take my turn. So that's why I play my game solo. I've said this before. So this is a chance to play an 18xx game, but not bother anybody else that I'm playing with, because I'm not playing with anybody else. And I can pause the camera and not put you through too much pain if you want to watch it. Although I like to talk over some of my thoughts and decisions, because I think that's what makes these games kind of tack. Anyway, I've done two. No, actually, no, I've done three proper games. That's why I've not been back to. And RAF's still over there, and I will get back to it. And I know I've said, well, maybe some of you are just watching this for 1862, but I did say that RAF hasn't been my favourite of the John Butterfield releases. I think I made that clear, but I still want to finish it, so I'm hoping that I still can get back to it. It's just, I suppose, something like this came along and grabbed the attention, and yeah. So I played three proper games, which I don't think I was making mistakes on. You can never say never though with these heavy games. But I felt like I got the major rules correct, and I don't think there was any major things that went wrong. Probably some rewinds, but as usual, my rewinds are legal, if you like, as in there's no new information. If I wind things back, I'm not seeing anything that's going to give me a benefit, by rewinding. So as long as I can do that, I don't mind doing that. Anyway, and my three games, I hit. Now I've got a note on my phone actually, so I can't tell you exactly, but the three of them were 8,001 or 200. So I'm pretty close to it. I think that's a pretty decent score from what I've seen, and it is tough. And as you're playing through the game, you think, how the heck am I going to get anywhere near these figures? Like I say, I think the soul rules. What is it? It's 9,000. Yeah, it's 9,000 for an apprentice, and then there's 10,000, 11,000, 12,000, 13,000, or 14,000 above for Yokozuna level, which is the highest level. So I'm close to the apprentice level, which sounds like, yeah, okay, but it's a great game. I really like it. Yeah, I really do. I can probably see that you can maybe get to a point where you can, I'm not saying quite easily hit these levels of 9,000, but I think there's some things, I can see some things coming into the game where I'm going to say, right, that's definitely a better thing to do here, and you're going to start understanding it. I think you could start seeing it being easier. I could be wrong with that, however. We will see as things go on. Okay, and I'll explain what I'm doing, but I'm not going to try and teach you the game such. It's just the camera's running for me recording it and seeing how we get on. Hopefully the main target is to not make mistakes, but again, there's no guarantees, nothing completely will go wrong, but hopefully we can but try. Yeah, there is some kind of rules that can catch you out easily in this, even if you are an experienced player at it. So but I will explain what I'm doing and what you're not allowed to do and what you can do and things. But there's plenty of videos out there that are teaching the game, even from a solo point of view. Multiplayers, I think, obviously I'm not played a multiplayer, but there's not a lot of big. Well, there is quite a lot of differences between the multiplayer game and the solo. I suppose there is, but it is on just one sheet of paper on either side, so there's not a terribly lot in it. Right, okay, well, let's just see if we can kick off with this. I know, to be honest, I had finished my last game of it last night, the third game, and I was going to say, right, let's take a break from this now, because I feel like I've maybe overdone it a bit. And so I sort of reset everything, and then I thought, well, maybe I could have another shot. And I thought, well, you know what, I'll put the camera on, we'll record that, and then maybe then I'll, once I've finished it, I can then maybe get back to RAF, get that finished, and see what's next. I think the latest I heard about Enemy Action Kharkov was it's pushed back again. I seem to read somewhere today somebody talked about it being June now, so it was May and now it's June. So yeah, okay. So right, well I've set things up now. Where I've got things, the table, as I've still got RAF set up over there, I know there's a big glare up there. That's actually just coming in through the window just now. So as it gets a bit darker, that might go away. So I'm kind of limited to the space I've got here, and then over this side I've got the tiles and tokens and things. To be honest, I did think I could move things about, and I could have moved the tiles out the way and then maybe put the cards in here, the stocks in here. And the stocks are just above the board, so that's not going to be easy to show, but I can probably just move the camera up there and zoom in a little bit, and yeah, we're sort of getting a look at them. Yeah, I'm not going to do much better than that, unless, of course, if I'd piled them differently, maybe. I wonder if I could change it about. No, I think I'm just going to persevere with how it is just now. These are all the stocks, and this is a big change between the solo game and the multiplayer. You sort of play a sort of game, a patient solitaire card game. Solitaire by moving stocks about. You can move any ones at the top onto another one at the top if it matches it. There's actually none there, is there? Oh, there is. The FDR one at the end there. You can see the FDR. Hang on. Yeah, I was trying to find the pencil, but it's not handy, so I've got my tweezers. Not that I need it for this game, really. The FDR share at the top, and there's one along there, so I could actually pick that one up and move it along, or vice versa, move the other one along, and then it gives you access to the share underneath. And this is for purchasing the shares. And the start of the game in the first stock round, it's quite a huge decision. That's a lot of the time actually for the game is spent on that first stock round, making your decisions about what companies you'd like to try and open and where, what they're going to be running as, and where you're going to try and plan to do them. So there's a lot of thinking involved. I suppose in some ways with RAF, where all the planning is at the beginning on your raids, this is, you could compare it a little bit to this. This is all about this first dot round's kind of huge to make your decisions. But I seem to have a better understanding of what I'm trying to achieve with this one. Although I'm sure I'll make terrible strategic decisions here to some of yous, but we shall see. So yeah, I've set them up, and that's 9 rows of 9 columns of 6 cards in each column. And I just done that earlier. I was going to do it on camera, and I thought, well, that's a carry on. So I've shuffled them all out, laid all them out. The other thing we need to do, like I say, I'm limited to space here, so we've got all the trains here. Now these have both been shuffled. This is the other thing. I'll just give this another reshuffle. This is how the train types come out. There's 3 types. We've got freight, express, and local. So we'll get them selected. So this is going to be the first one, express. I'll give them a shuffle. Express, freight, express. That's not great because you're, oh dear. Local and local. The 2 locals are at the end, which is not good. I'm just going to shift them down there. I know I'm probably not going to show a lot of these things. Right, we do have the option of mulligan here, and we get 1 mulligan, and there's a choice of 3 different things that you can mulligan. This is one of them, and I'm thinking I might be wanting to do that because the fact that my last 2 local trains are the 5th and 6th company to start, because when I start my first company, it's got to be, that's the permit it gets. You don't get a choice, it becomes an express. So you've got to build your thoughts and strategies round about that. The fact we've got 2 locals at the end is, I think, it's highly likely we're probably wanting the mulligan that, but we'll see. Now, I know there's a bit of glare from that. I think that's coming from a light. So these are the player order, and I'll just shuffle these. You take the 3 of these, and we'll just do them in this order. So I've got a 3, a 2, and a 1. And I watched a video recently, and somebody said that was probably the best order to start with. 3, 2, 1. Sorry about that bit glare, but I don't. Oh, that's that kind of way there now, isn't it? I'm going to have to move that again, though, I think. Oh, that's okay. Right, and that is how many trains that the AI will take away. The AI is the Yorkshireman in the game. The AI will take away 3 trains on the first. It's actually not the first operating round. The first operating round is special, and they just remove all the A trains. Second operating round, they'll take 3 trains. And then the next one he'll take 2, next one he'll take 1. Then we shuffle these up again, do it again. And also he might take 1 extra, because if we don't buy a train, he'll add 1 on to that. So if we don't buy a train, he would take 4. If we don't buy a train in that phase, he would take 3, obviously. So that's that randomise, and that's that randomise. I'm not happy about this. Now the other 2 options to mulligan are shuffling up one of these columns and redoing it. I think you put I've not done that yet. I think you put the column, you just take them, discard them to the bottom of the deck, and the deck is over there. There's a lot of shares. There's 20 companies in the game, and they've got 7 shares each. And these are the actual company shares, which you don't use in the game, but I use them rather than the tokens to remove the companies from the game. And we'll show you that in a second, because we're just about to deal with that. So yeah, that is one option about redo it, and a mulligan to change one of these columns for a fresh 6 cards. And then the third and final mulligan option is, well, we need to shuffle these share certificates up, which I will do just now. There's 20 companies, but we're going to remove 4 of them from the game. So we randomly select 4 of these, and remove them from the game, and that's your other mulligan option, that you could realise that, oh, I don't want the 4 removed, so you then take them away and then reshuffle and draw another 4. So 1, 2, I know I'm doing this off camera, but you can trust me, I'm not doing anything dodgy. So that's our 4. So what have we got? So I like to put them up. Somebody, that was maybe Heavy Cardboard's videos of it. He put them up here, which I think is quite a good idea. This is not used. This is for the multiplayer game anyway, so you don't really use that. So these are the companies that are going to be out of the game. It says in the rulebook to use the wee tokens to mark them, but it says optionally you can use the cards, and I found it better that way. So with that, they 4 companies are out of the game: ECR, LNE, WSTL, and ESR. So we've got to cover up on the map then, and you just take some of the tiles and turn them upside down. So we have ECR, which that's not good. We don't like that one going away. L&E, didn't mind so much, but it's blocking. There's a nice route from this port here down to London, but I found what was it? Yeah. I found a slight problem. I had the last game with it. I thought I could just easily trace down that. Well, I'll tell you that in a sec. Hang on, let's get these other ones done. And the whistles up there, that's not good either. Oh my, this is terrible. And ESR's the last one, which I'll tell you what, that's not good either. Oh, that's horrible. So I mean, both the routes are kind of blocking the way from King's Lynn down to London, or even just across to the Midlands or the West there. You're going to have to come round about, which is not ideal. And this is obviously right in front of London too. And this one, which is an end tile as well. And the end tiles are slightly more, you get better value from them, and that's kind of blocking to Felixstowe here. So, yeah. Well, there's a decision to make. I mean, I could mulligan this, and we just reshuffle these up and pick another 4 cards. However, I did say when I drew this that I didn't like the look of this as well. Okay. Right, we've got a tough call to make right away then. Okay, so I'm just looking up at the shares and the possibility of what company to open first. FDR, which is the company that starts in Felixstowe, which is the one that the ESR is kind of blocking off. It wouldn't be so bad if I could make it a local train. I'll just show you down there. I can't keep jumping about here, mind you. Yeah, here's FDR here, so it starts here. Could have been nice freight. You want freights coming out the water because they give you an extra bonus, an extra £10 bonus per hex if they come from a port. So I mean, ideally I'm maybe looking for a route out of Felixstowe down to London, but look at these two, both of them are blocking the way. And FDR I can get to start right away. I can get 3 shares, and we need 3 shares to start a company. And there's one here obviously, and there's one here, but there's one just under this ENR share. So if I move that FDR across to there, and then that exposes that ENR, we move that ENR across to there, and we get access to that FDR. So right there, without removing any other companies, I can start that FDR. That would be starting it as an express. That's not great down there. As a freight, yeah. But again, because the hexes are blocking, it's making me think I'm going to have to redo the remove companies. The other one that I noticed was L and E. There's two L and E's under this N and B. Sorry, not L and E, L and H, and then there's an L and H there. To get the N and B share out, I'd probably have to remove that from the game. I mean, I've not studied too much into it yet. Like I say, there's a lot to think about here. But if I did remove that N and B share, which it's in the middle here, it's not in any. It's not a bad one for like having a local route. You want the locals going through all the wee stops. But apart from that, it's not really, I wouldn't mind that closing, so we could remove that. And you can do that, you can just remove, your options are not just moving cards about, you can actually remove one of the companies from the game that's on the top. And once they get removed, if there's no tile already built on the map, then you cover the tile up like we've done already. As the game progresses, if we can get a token on the tile and then we remove that company from the game, it doesn't really affect it, so that's a good time to then be doing it. But of course at the start of the game you've not got any tiles in place yet. So, and then the L and H, the one that I was talking about being able to get, and again that would be, well, one of these would be a freight and one of these would be an express. I could do it either way around. So the L and H it's actually up here. Again, bought by these two, but that would be a nice freight as well, because it can actually come down into here and scoot across to the Midlands. To be honest, it's a nice freight or an express, I think. Yeah. But the two tiles are in the way. So both the things make me think that I should mulligan the companies going out of play. Of course, the problem is here, I could mulligan this and we could draw L and H and FDR and put them out of play. And that's a risk we're taking. And the fact we're stuck with express, freight, local, that's not great at all, but I think this looks worse, but I'm no expert. Okay, I have decided I'm going to mulligan this, and we're just going to have to persevere with the train types the way they are. Hopefully, my last game I had. In fact, my last game I actually got the whole five permits out. So I started 6. I started the whole 6, but I think the previous games I've maybe only had 4 or 5 at the most. Okay, so I'm going to take these all off and we'll try that again. Okay, so I've took the closed companies back down again. I had just wondered there if maybe the mulligan didn't include the ones that you took away, but I think it just shuffles up again. Mulligan may change one of the following: the order of train permits by reshuffling and redealing them, the choice of 4 companies drawn from the cup by returning them all to the cup and redrawing them again. Yeah, and mind, I'm not using the tokens in the cup, I'm just using the actual share certificates. So it's basically just put them back, shuffle them up again and draw 4 better ones this time. So what were the ones? We don't really want to see FDR or L and H, do we? Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Right. 1, 2. Just randomly drawing from anywhere. 3, 4. Okay. Let's see what we're getting this time. N and B. That wasn't one from before. N and E. Oh, that's a bad one. It's similar to the easier one we had. N and S. Where's that? That's actually not too bad, I don't think. L and D. Well, we never got any of the ones that we said we could start. L and D. L and D's. Nah, that's okay. Well, that's better. That's definitely better. Right. So N and B was in here in the middle. Oh yeah, was that not one that said I could actually remove? Oh, that makes it even better then, because we don't actually need to remove that to get a A2L and H shares. That was fortunate. Like I say, it's nice. It's nice because, you know, you want one starting going maybe through. I found, but then again, our locals are going to be the very last two companies we start because we're stuck with that setup now. Anyway, N and E, right? This was the bad one, and that's here. So that's I mean, we had ECR locked off before that one, but at least we still have ECR. Just while we're looking at that, here was my. I was trying to run a 7 freight, which I think. How do the trains go? Where are we? Well, it tells you on the permits, on the company things. Yeah, was it a 7 freight? Or was it? No, it was a 6 express, because that's as far as you can get. And a 6 express is 1, 2, you count each station, each major station or off-board point for an express. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 into London. No, that's right. That works, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then London. I think what I must have had was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I don't know. That would have worked then, wouldn't it? 6. Because you wouldn't count this bit of track. And I'm just talking, if you just draw a straight bit of track right down there, if we happen to do that. No, you know what it was? I had turned here. This hex wasn't, I'd made my track this way or something like that. I'd done something strange, and that's what you've got to watch. See the little stops, you've got to watch how you put your track out with them, because once you set the way that they go, the direction they go, you can't really change them. I don't think they change at all. That's one of the things that caught me out in the first couple of games. I was like, oh, I can't change that, because even if I upgrade it, it doesn't work. Whereas all the stations, they can be upgraded and give you different directions, and but these little ones, you've got to watch them. Okay, right, we're getting sidetracked there, Grant. Let's what was it? N and B, N and E. N and S is the one that's over here. I mean, okay. Let's look up to the shares though there. I don't. Yeah, there is 3 within the tableau, I think, but they're buried down a bit. However, that's gone, and L and D is in the middle here again. So that certainly looks better to what we had originally. So, good stuff. We'll just go with that. So that's the 4 initial companies removed from the game. So now we need to go and decide. Like I say, the first share we purchase is going to be an express train. So we've got to keep that in mind. And we need 3 shares to actually float the company and get it started. I mean, my 3 major games, maybe not the first one, but the last 2 that I played, I started 3 companies in the initial stock round. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. One of the biggest problems in this game is the trains and how you go through them. It catches me. Well, it catches me all the time, and I think this is one of the things that you could learn from and become more experienced at. And some of these guys that have played the game lots and lots of times probably know. I get caught out. The last game I had, I got caught so badly. I had to refinance one of my companies, which is the first time I'd had to do that in any of the games that I played. There was just no way out of it. you get caught with the trains. The trains rust. You start off with A trains there, and they rust when a C train gets purchased. That's not such a big deal, but I found that it's round about the C's. It tells you on here as well, doesn't it? The C trains rust when an F train is bought. But although you start with, does it tell you the number of trains that they've got there? Where does it tell you? I'm sure I read that somewhere. It's here. It's on this wee card. Yeah, there's 7 A trains in the game. This is in the solo game you play. It's a long game because you can play a short game as well. In fact, it's not a medium game. Yeah, there's a normal game, a short game, and a long game. But with the solo game you play the long game. It's just this wee card here I'm looking at, which tells you all the bands of trains, what their numbers are. The freight. That's a 2 local, that's a 2 express, how much they cost, and how many is in the game. So there's 7 A's in the game, 6 B's, 5 C's, 4 D's, and then, you're only getting 3 E's, 2 F's, and 1 G. So, like I've just said, that C trains rust when an F train gets purchased. And because there's only 3 E trains, the F trains can come along quite quick. And if the Yorkshireman at the AI's taken 3 trains that turn, and there's only 1 E train left, and maybe you've not bought one as well, he'll maybe take 4 trains and he'll take all the E trains and then 1 F train, and you're looking across at what trains you've got, and you've got 3 C trains, and they all just rust. And you're like, oh, I've no trains left. So that is the bit that I'm finding the hardest to get right, and I totally did not get anywhere near right in that last game. I think my first 2 games I managed that better, so I don't know if I was trying to do too much in that last game, because like I said to you, I think in the end started all 6 companies, so it might have been that. Anyway, that's the bit I'm finding the hardest to judge. So, well, we'll see if we can make a better performance out of here. Okay, so now we need to... That's our mulligan out of the way. And by the way, we start with £600, which I've got. Now, apparently it's mandatory to have poker chips for when you play 18xx games. It does come with money, but yeah, I figured that it was time. I actually bought the poker chip. I think they're really good as well. Somebody else had recommended these, and they were only £28. That might seem like a lot. I don't know if it is or not, but £28 from Amazon. And it's a lovely. Well, that's a nice case. 2 packs of cards, 5 dice in there, and a big load of chips, and they're really quite heavy chips. I thought it was really good, but some of you might prefer other things. But yeah, I don't think it's known to be playing with the paper money that comes with these games, but you can if you want to. So anyway, you start with £600, and generally after the first stock round you've got very little money left, because you need to start your companies. So I'm now going to go and have a look. So I'll let you have a look at the board there. And like I say, I don't want to move about too much. Once I see some things, maybe I'll... I can't get everyone in, obviously. This one there, actually, you know what I could have done? I could have covered up here and maybe had the wee mini map showing them. Would that be of use, maybe? Anybody that might want to look and see what a good strategy would be to start. Let's see if I can do that. Hang on. I could maybe make this work a bit. I've found these are the wee counters with Express, but I just used actual permits and then move them up on the thing. But look, they're white on the back, so we could just do this and mark the companies that are out of the game. So it's L&D is up there, and N&S, and the last one's N&B. Yeah, no. Yeah, so it might let you look at it and decide from there rather than me move back down. Okay, so I'll just going to pause there, I think. And remembering our first train is going to be an express. So we're going express, freight, and then the two locals at the end. So that was the downside to that. So the first one's an express. Okay, I've been having a look, and I think I'm going to try and start my express, the FDR, with the intention of it can still run round into London. Admittedly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that's a long way away to get that. Yeah, ECR is the other company that's right beside London, but there's one share on the top, but the other two shares are buried quite deep, and it's probably a good express target there, but it's not so easy. I'm not going to get it just yet without making a right mess of things, I think. Whether it could be considered for the second express train, we'll go express, freight, and then express again. Well, I was actually thinking the whistle shares are quite possible. Anyway, and then my freight was going to be the L&H. And the reason I've done that was I thought, well, is it no easier for an express going from this port to here? But it's not. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 for an express to do that, which is a D train, and it's only... Now, freight trains count differently. They count hex sides. So a 3 freight counts 3 hex sides. So it starts there and it goes 1, 2, 3. So it actually can get in there, and that's a C train. So the freight starting up there is going to benefit quite better and quicker than what an express would. And there's nothing to say you couldn't merge an express later to maybe come do this run right down to London, maybe something like that. So yeah, like I say, I'm probably not going to be making the best choices here, but I can only try my best. Okay, so I'm going to take FDR. I'm just going to move around the table here because of the space that I've got. So what was the plan? It was take this one. So we're going to buy that one. We've not decided yet how much we're going to start it out for. That's up to us. And then that opens up this ENR, so we can move this ENR across to here. You know what, I should have looked at any shares that might be coming out first, shouldn't I? What have we got? N and B, that's coming out. Oh yeah, that's right, because we were talking about we would have to remove that one, but it happened to be one of the ones that were. And then N and E's, that's getting us that whistle share right away. Because I was looking at the whistle ones, and there's 2 of them down here and 1 here, and the N and S is out the game. So you've got this Y and N, but there's no other shares of Y and N here. So I'm not going to be able to move that. However, the Y and N's are way over here. I mean, it does completely shut off to the C there, but I could maybe take that sacrifice. If it meant getting 3 of the whistle shares to possibly start as our second express, which would be our third company, maybe. Right, so we bought one FDR, we're buying the next FDR here, and then this one from here. So let's go and work out, that's us now floated our first company. Hopefully you heard me alright there, I was a wee up the other side, but... So that's us floated our first company, FDR. So now we need to decide what we're going to start the company at, price-wise, etc. Okay, so this is where we would pick our price for our starting company. So, and as I've got £600, it's quite handy to have a calculator on this game. I mean, some of them are not too difficult to work out. But as the game goes on, it's probably quite handy to have. So yeah, and I've got 3 shares. I'm definitely going to get another 3 shares in our company. And let's just say I'm able to get another 3 and start 3 companies. So you've got 600 divided by 9 for the 9 shares. So if I wanted to start them all the same, that's 66.66 whatever. So I could start them all at £62. However, I could probably start some of them at 68 and some of them at 62, and this is where we've got to try and decide what's best. So our first one's an Express. I'm wondering about 74 actually. So the 74 times 3 is 222, and then let's just say I started the freight at, well, let's just say I started it at 68. That's 426. So that leaves 174 divided by 3 would leave me 58. So there you go. I could put 3 shares at 74, 3 at 68, and then 3 at 58. And I think that's bang on £600 actually. But there's nothing to say that you might not want a 4 share in the company as well. So that could alter things. I don't think I've seen easy access to a 4 share in FDR. And there is a 4 share in FDR. It's way down here. Unlikely. The next company was L&H, wasn't it? So we've got them 3 easily taken. There's another 1 down the very bottom of that column, but that's that. So I can't see us getting 4 of any of the 2 companies. And then the third company to start, well, at the moment I can see it being the whistle one. Like, you say whistle, WSTL, but I think the other videos I've watched, they've been calling it whistle as well. So, and well, to be honest, it's possible of sneaking a 4th one there, because there is one underneath that WNR. Where's WNR? They're right at the top at another port as well, but oh no, I can see there's a move across, because once we take the 2 L&H out of the way, there's a WNR there, so if we buy the whistle, that WNR can move across there, giving us access to that whistle. So in actual fact, we could, I think, get 4 of the whistle shares. So need to think about that then. Okay, with that in mind, I've just worked out I could get 4 shares at 4 shares at 58, 3 at 54, and 3 at 68. So I think I might go for that. So the 4 shares is going to be the whistle ones. So they're going to be the Express, because they're going to be the third company started. Actually, could that be the second company? No, because they need... Oh, well, it could, actually. It could. So would I want the WSTL to be the freight? No, because we've... And then the L&H is the Express. I don't know if it matters, does it? I'm not so sure if that would make any odds. They're both up in the same area, aren't they? I quite like the idea of the sort of Express being able to go eventually right from there to London. So maybe I do want the L&H as the express, and then, well, mind you, the freight needs to come from the port, doesn't it? And there's nothing to stop if we have the Whistles Express run in from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in here, and then in here, 6 for our London Express. I think that works. So we'll just stick with what I had initially then. Right, okay, I will. Okay. So I'm going to set par for the FDR at... I'm going to set the FDR Express at 68 then. So, and then we'll go into the stock market. This is the stock market here, so we put that at 68 as well. Now there's the share certificate or whatever it's called, this chartered. And oh yeah, and I'm just playing. I've never tried an unchartered company yet, and this is where it varies again from the multiplayer game, I think. I just started watching a video of a multiplayer game of it, because I'm quite interested to see how it plays that way as well. It's slightly different, but you can have chartered or unchartered companies, but it's more than like I've not bought done an unchartered company yet, so it's more than likely this game won't see that. Again, this could be something that you need to move into before you're going to get a victory in the game. It could possibly be. So I might need to read more into it and find out the ins and outs of that. We'll see. I might change my mind through this, and I might sort of say, well, why don't we try this and start this as unchartered? So we start at 68. So the Treasury gets 10 times that par price, so we get £680. However, we've got 3 station markers that we need to spend, and they're £60 each, so it's 180 off of that 680. So we start with £500. So that's the Treasury that company gets, and that just comes from the bank. That's not from my money or anything. And then we get the train permit, which is an express train. Okay, and if you purchase any shares, they go there, and then any of the trains that we go there. Right, I'm just going to... because I'm going to start 3 just now. I'll put it there just now. Okay. So I purchased 3 shares at £68. What it is, 180, 204, isn't it? £204. So, well, I'll do this properly. So I'll get 96 back. 75, 95, 96, right, okay. And then hopefully we've worked it out right. Well, I was using a calculator for all that stuff earlier, so it should be right. Okay, so I've got 396, haven't I? 95, yeah, 396 left. Right, so let's get, and the next one we decided was going to be the L&H. Actually, I'm not 100% sure if that's right or not, but... Okay, I'm going to struggle to move. We can move the camera a bit just now. Once things start getting... Yeah, it's going to be tricky. Okay, I'm going to go and see... So it's L&H shares we want. I think they're all pretty straightforward to get hold of. There's nothing else that we can remove from the game there. L&D, you might not be able to see them. Well, you can see, oh well, that doesn't really help on there, does it? It's L&D, N and S, N and E, and N and B, so there's none of them on the top. So we are taking these L&H shares. So I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna mess about. I'm just gonna take the 3. This is looking easier than my last game. I tell you, it took a while to sort out all the shares and move things about, and I had to remove quite a few companies, I think, to get at things. I think this is, it's random, I suppose you can get luckier than at times than others. So that's 3 shares in L&H, and we decided they were going to have to be at 54, I think. Yeah, so I think it was 54, that'd be 162. So 150. 8 change. So that's leaving us with 234. 234 divided by 4. That's what I'm going to be. 234 divided by 4. 58.5. Yeah, there you go. So I can get 4 shares at 58 with that. So that's spot on. Right, okay, so LNH started at 54, so unfortunately that's the lowest one though. Well, that's my battery getting low, so see if I can get this finished though, the stock part at least. And then we get 3 station counters on here. The first one's the home base, and that's got to be placed first. And then we put a counter up there, that's just to track the train runs. So 54 here on the stock market. What else are we needing? Right, so we need 540 less 180 though, so that's 360, is it? 360. Yeah, 360, so not an awful lot of cash to start with. But, well, that's me trying to make the most, and then trying to get 4 shares in another company. I mean, I don't know if that's right or not. Maybe you would suggest that's not a good strategy. Right, and then finally, we'll see if we can get these WSTL shares. I just noticed I moved things up a little bit there, but just above here, these are shares removed from the game up here. These are columns. So WSTL, yes, we can get this one, and then move that across and get that one. And we'd like to get these 2. So, well, that's what we're going to do. Fortunately, there's nothing at all we can do with this one. So I'm going to have to remove this from the game. So I remove that from the game, it goes across there. Just so happens that's the top one. So this now becomes the next company removed from the game. And I wander around again. Right, so that's the next YNN's been removed from the game. We need to cover up on the main board. It's across there, so it's kind of like, it's really messed up both of these, but you've got to do something, I think. I mean, that's not great. We still have access to these 2 ports up here, I suppose. And then Felix still, well, we've got getting that open with the FTR, so yeah, let's see. You've got to take some sort of risks, I think. And then we'll mark it on here. I'm not sure if this is helping you or not, but what was it? Yeah, YNN. Right, and then now that then gives us access to this share, which the NNS is already removed from the game, so that can go away. And then we get these 2 WSTL shares. So I'm then going to purchase 1, 2, 3. And then, well, before I go through the procedure, I might as well shimmy this about. So move that across, and then gives us access to the 4th WSTL share. And just a couple of other things to tidy up there. Might as well do it while I'm up here, this is pretty interesting actually. So this is removed from the game, so I can take that away. I've just noticed we've got 1, 2 WNR shares there with an N and B underneath, which is removed from the game, and another WNR. So we can actually start that company, but also look at this, ECR. And the ECR are the ones that are just outside London. That's making me wonder if I've went about that right. I mean, I had to move a lot about to get down at them, but because that ECR's probably a good express. That's not a terrible freight though, which is the next up in line. But you know what? We've done what we've done. So there's nothing more, well, without removing companies from the game up there, there's nothing really more we can do manipulating. We're going to be completely out of money, well, near enough. So we can't buy anything else. But there's a lot to think about the next. The next company is going to be a freight, and then we've got two locals. So where's the WNR actually? Well, there you go. WNR's up here, isn't it? So it could be that that's a nice freight. Just that ECR's a really good express, I think. That's the one that's just down here. Maybe if I'd looked at that better, might have been able to manipulate it better for to have that as the express rather than the WSTL that I've just done now. Oh well, okay. You know what, we've done it now. Let's just see how we get on with that. So that was 4 shares in WSTL. So let's get their certificate out. That's Wisbeck, St Ives and Cambridge Junction Railway. There we go. There's a lot of different companies about back then. Okay, and we've got 4 shares in them, and we're starting them at 58. 458s are 232. 232. 232. We've got £2 left. That's all we've got. £2. Ah well. Right, and then we'll just sort this out. And that goes on 58. And that goes up there to be used for later. And then he gets his permit. Yeah, I'm cringing now about that ECR. I'm not so sure I could have got to it without, but you never know. Sometimes you can move the shares about and dig down by moving them across and that, and I never maybe looked at it carefully. Right, so he's starting with £580, West 180, so 400. And that should get him started as well. Okay, right, that is our first stock round finished then, I believe, because we can't do anything else. And to be honest, the next stock round will go pretty quick because we'll not have money. Because none of our companies can run a train. They can't earn any money. They've not got a train. So that's the next part. The first operating round is just about them buying a train. So in the A phase, we only get 1 operating round, and it's marked here as yellow. We only get yellow tiles to weigh as well. So we can turn this over and have a look. Tell us a bit about it. I'll explain a bit about the trains. So this is a phase A. So each train receives a free warranty to start with. You don't get that in all the phases, so it's kind of irrelevant in phase A, to be honest. But I noticed phase D does it as well, I think. And I did pick up extra warranties that time, and it worked out in my favour, so I'm going to try and plan for that again. Start of the game, yellow tires are available, one operating round between stock rounds, and that's going to be the trains that you're going to get. That's how much they're going to cost, £100. So that's that, and then we're ready to start our stock round, our first operating round. Okay, right, I'm going to have to pause now anyway. That's almost an hour. That's probably par for my videos, but as that stock round there's a lot going on. There's a lot to decide, and after my decisions, I'm wondering if they were terrible or just that looking at the ECR shares, because I don't think it's a very good local. But I mean, a freight running in and out of London's good, so it could just be the next freight. That might work. It might work out right. Right, okay, I'll leave it for now, and then I might be back a bit later once I get my phone charged up a bit. Okay, cheers.